Spiritual Principles, Rabbi Michael-ben-Pesach, Portnaar. The 34th Spiritual Principle. Everything that descends downward from the place of the zivuk is the reflected light, and not the direct light. From Tes, Talmud Eser Sfirot. Please refer to the written materials for the text in Hebrew. Following the Tzimtzum and Masach, which was established in the Kli, which is called the desire to receive, was separated and left the whole system of holiness, and Or Choser was established instead to become the Kli Kabbalah. And know that this is all the difference between Abeya de Gdusha and Abeya de Tumah, of the unclean forces. For the Kli of receiving, Abeya de Gdusha, of holiness, is from Or Choser, which is set in conformity with the attribute of Ein Sof, and Abeya de Tumah, of the unclean forces, uses the desire to receive, which has contracted, and receives only for itself, for its own sake, which is the opposite attribute to Ein Sof. And because of this, they are cut off and separated from the life of lives, which is Ein Sof. And this you will understand, the root of corruption, which is included in the intention of creation, that this purpose, the intention of creation, is to enjoy creation. As after all, the development of the five common worlds, that they are Adam Kadmon and Abeya, Atzilut, Bria, Yetzirah, and Asiyah, also revealed the klipot in the four worlds of Abeya de Tumah, the unclean forces, in secret. One against the other created Elohim. Then we find before as a muddled material body, about which it is said that the intention of the human heart is evil from his youth, due to the fact that all his feeding from his youth is from the remnants of klipot. That all aspects of klipot and tumah are aspects of a property called the desire only to receive, which is in them, as there is absolutely no desire to give in them at all. And in this they are opposing to him, blessed is he, that he, the blessed one, the holy one, absolutely has no desire to receive, God forbid. And all his desire is only to enjoy and give abundance. And that is why the klipot are called dead, because in contrast their properties are from the lives of lives. They are in contrast with these properties, and we find that they are cut off from him, and they have nothing from the abundance of the Blessed One. And therefore also the body that feeds on the remnants of the klipot is found cut off from life, and it is filled with impurity. And all this is only because of the desire to receive and not to give, which is rooted in it. For his desire is always revealed in order to get into the world and fill it into his womb. And therefore the villains in life are called dead, because due to the changes of their properties to the limit from their roots, and they don't have perfect giving at all, they are cut off from the Blessed One, and they are really dead. And despite the fact that it seems that the villains also have an aspect of giving, when they give alms to charity and the likes, but it is said about them in the Zohar that all the mercy they do for themselves, that the essence of their intentions is for themselves and for their glory. Look there. However, the righteous who are engaged in the Torah and the commandments, in order not to receive a reward, but to give affection to the Creator, lighten their body with this, and draw the kli of receiving, which is in them, to the aspect of bestowal. As our holy teacher said, it is revealed and known I didn't even enjoy my little finger. And in this they are merged with the Blessed One, indeed, since their properties perfectly correspond to their Creator without any distinction, without any difference. And this is what the wise men, blessed be their memory, explained about the verse from the Torah. And he said to Zion, "You are my people." And they explained in the introduction to the Zohar from the Samech Zayin, "You are in partnership with me, that the righteous are the partners of the Creator, blessed be He, since He, the Blessed One, began the creation, and the righteous complete the creation, as they turn the kli of receiving into the kli of giving." Here we must of course remember that we are taught in the Zohar a legitimate receipt from the bottom part of the leg of Kuf, that if there was only this legal way to receive, as it is said, one against the other made the Creator, then the klipot would only receive from the bottom leg of the letter Kuf, and it would be a normal way to receive for Tumah, a system of unclean forces. Moreover, they would not be strengthened enough to cover the face of the Creator before the lower ones. But a person would still have the right to choose. They would not be so strong as to darken and make his material body dark. But because of Adam's sin, the power of the klipot could rise from the letter Kuf to the letter Dalet, and eat away at the corner of the letter Dalet, which is Chasadim. When Gimel gives Malchut, when Gimel gives to Malchut, to the poor Dalet, and these Chasadim give her the necessary strength so that she can exist and feel the illumination of Chokmah. Since Malchut needs Chokmah, and because of Adam's sin, the klipot were able to intensify so much that now they have the whole system of Abayah de klipot. And from this the body feeds, the desire to receive only for oneself. Thus, we know that all the desires are given into the system of impure forces. But only when you reflect the light and receive it together with the direct light that is comprehended, only this is for your benefit, for construction, because it is constructive and because you are building your spiritual body that will remain and remains forever. All the rest is received by your desire to receive. It is fulfilled. It does not give any spiritual movement and leaves no traces on which to build anything. Desire itself does not mean anything. The desire is very important, of course, but the desire itself is still not enough. We must work on it. If a person is born with a talent in a certain field, but he does not work on himself, then nothing will come of it. How often can one see a superior person born, for example, physically, healthy, powerful, and strong, and you see how quickly his life ends? It will not be said about us, but as he does not appreciate this, sores come quickly because of drinking, smoking, and suddenly he is gone. Even at a fairly good age, when life begins, even before this, they say, everything in life is no longer interesting. At that time, as you see, a person who is weak physically, and this health and strength is not given to him, but he flourishes, gradually flourishes, and receives life and lives, and everything works out. The light propagating from the Ein Sof to the creation is called by the name Or Yashar. And this light is associated with the creation by dressing into the Or Hoser, which rises from the Masach and upwards, due to the Zivug de Haka'ah, the meaning of which will be explained below. And this is called by the name binding, since this Or Hoser, rising from the Masach of the fourth stage, seizes, dresses, and covers the upper light in the Igulah from the direct light. Thus, In a place where the Or Hoser does not dress into the upper light, this light is considered to be in relation to the creation if it does not exist. For it is not comprehended without this dressing, without this garment called Or Hoser. And this will be explained below. And it is like a separation, like a lamp with oil, that despite the fact that the essence of the luminous force is attracted to the properties of the oil, which is in it, however, this light is associated with the oil only by a wick, and in the place where the wick ends, the lamp goes out, although there is still a lot of oil left there. And after Ein Sof's robe ended Binah from Masach and above, as said, then Or Hoser returns and descends from the place of Masach and down, and expands this Malchut by 10 Sfirot from her and into her, that is, from the Keter to Malchut, like the 10 Sfirot from the Masach, and higher in Atzilut, that is, only at the level of Binah, which is Keter and Chochmah that are hidden in her, as said above. And these 10 Sfirot are the 10 Sfirot of Bria. Thus, they are in the world of Atzilut, and the 10 Sfirot of Binah, who came above the Masach, the 10 Sfirot Derosh. And the Rav says about them, when he wished to shine in Bria, he dressed into Binah, which is in Atzilut. And the 10 Sfirot of the second, which stretched and came out below the Masach, they are called the 10 Sfirot of the world, Bria. In any state, one must always proceed from the fact that there is light and there is the receiver of light. And the relationship between them is governed by the power of comprehending the recipient of this light. And the light has the property of bestowal, and therefore the recipient, by adapting his powers to light, by corresponding to the attributes and properties, reaches the light in his kilim. This is achieved by raising the Or Hoser, and this picture should always be in front of your eyes, and everything else is an invention of spiritually illiterate people, religions, groups, sects, all sorts of theoretical scholars, etc., which of course pursue some kind of noble goal, but all this is not a method of liberating a person from under the yoke of the filth and evil, which is given only in the Kabbalah for your salvation and freedom. There is a hok, immutable law in the higher worlds, that every lower step that causes the addition of light to the step above it, this whole measure of additional light returns and is transmitted to the lower conjugated step, which is led to this. And in our consideration, because the Masach, which is above Malchut, of the world Atzilut, which leads the Or Hoser to raise and dress into all 9 Sefirot of Atzilut, and that makes them, as stated above, such as that without it, without the Or Hoser, the light of Ein Sof could not have been grasped and put in Atzilut. For, as it is known, the light cannot be comprehended without the Kli. And this is the role of Or Hoser. Due to the fact that the Masach summoned all that additive, i.e., the Or Hoser, the 10 Sfirot mentioned are therefore the Masach and the Kli Malchut, expanded because of the Or Hoser, which returns and descends to it from the place of the Masach and downwards, and it attracts all those 10 Sfirot of Atzilut to the top in full similarity. Thus, only Malchut of Atzilut continues to descend and spreads the 10 Sfirot from her and into her, like the 10 Sfirot of Atzilut, that is, from Keter to Malchut, and they are called the 10 Sfirot of the world Bria. What does the Masach of the lower do? It raises the Or Hoser, which then descends and makes the 10 Sfirot Kelim in himself from the Masach and below, But first he lifts the Or Hoser from himself and upwards and dresses the 10 Sfirot of the incoming light, or Yashar, that is, in there. In this way, he makes Kilim, in which the light is dressed. That is, he causes two things that now come to the lower. Now Or Hoser comes from the Masach and downwards. He makes 10 Sfirot of Kilim. Or Hoser is the light of Hasidim, and the light of the highest is put within him. Inside it is the light that he put on in the highest, but, of course, after Masach, they have a different quality. It is very important to know these two aspects. Any incoming light, with all its coarsening, makes a zivug on the Masach of the spiritual object, and the Or Hoser, which has some strength, rises. It can be valid for one stage. For example, raises the Or Hoser by one stage, one level. For example, to receive only the light of Ruach. It can also have greater power, to receive the light of Neshama, or even the light of Hokmah. It all depends on the strength of his Masach. Take into account that the light of Gadlut always passes to a spiritual object. The full light always passes to the Kli. And the Kli can receive from it, for example, only the light of Ruach, or even a part of Ruach. For example, Nefesh de Ruach, i.e., to just get a little Ruach. So, look, it always turns out like this. It can never be so that a little bit of light passes and the rest does not. Light is simple, singular, and indivisible. The light completely passes into the Kli, which the Masach has, which is capable of holding some portion of the light in the Kli. For example, he has Masach only on Kli Nefesh, Nefesh de Ruach, a very weak Kli. What is the result? First, the full light hits the Masach and completely passes into this Kli, but instantly. That is, a full Gadlut comes from the whole Naranchai, comes to this weak Kli, most of which disappears, departs immediately. Where? It flies back to the source. It has no place in this Kli. Of course, in fact, he does not go anywhere and does not come anywhere. There is always light inside him present, which always remains in its place. But the next stage, which precedes the perception of this person, this Kli comes completely. And therefore, there is a desire to feel more. Where does this come from? Because each time a full, indivisible light in itself comes, but it immediately leaves, and only that which has power in the Kli remains in the sensation. But he, of course, leaves a trace behind him in the Kli. After all, nothing disappears in the spiritual. And this trace, or footprint in the Kli, strengthens the desire for the light that this footprint has made. And this is the essence of development and progress in the spiritual work. I will give such a simple example. There is such a long hose called a fire hose, which firefighters use to extinguish fires. And now imagine that they pour water into a bucket of 10 liters from it. What happens then? 100 liters of water instantly flies out of this hose, which is enough for 10 buckets. And if the hose is working at full capacity, then how much water does it give? Maybe a ton. But the Kli itself, in our case, the bucket, does not feel the rest of the water. It feels only its 10 liters, which fit in it. And then you can pour into this bucket as much as you want. It no longer feels it. You will not add anything to it. The same happens with the light coming to us. Those above want to give us absolutely everything, up to complete perfection. At each moment there's a full tide of light, full presence of light, and it depends only on you how much and how to get it, from your personal choice, from your willpower, from the degree of your desire to come to perfection, even in this Gilgulah, even during your life. Nothing in the spiritual and the true existence gives a desire to simply know. What is it? I have to find connections with one another, and everything is interconnected. Therefore, nothing therefore, nothing helps. All these questions that are asked there, all this comes out of the brain, and everything goes to one place and never returns. It is written in Tikkunei Zohar. To simply convey, I paraphrase it, of course, that there is an internal and external part. And if a person studies the Torah with the head, this is the internal part of the study. And it cannot resist without the external framing part. And the outer part is the installation. The right intention is the Yirat Hashem, the Yirat Chet, fear of sin. Even if a person knows brilliantly and understands where everything is, knows all the heavenly mechanics, but is not afraid of sin, then this is not Kabbalah, not Torah, and it will not stand. Tikkunei Zohar gives an interesting example of why it would not stand. This can be compared with the person who is given the keys to the inner hall, but he does not have the keys to the outer hall. Does this help him? That is, there is an external hall, and already there, inside it, there is a second hall. In the same way, it will not help to work only with the head. When there is no fear of sin, and the person must learn this fear himself. What is the fear of sin? One must internally perform spiritual work. Without this, it will not work. No Kabbalah will help. Of course, the study of Kabbalah should lead a person to the fact that along with the fact that he's trying to understand something, his fear in the sky, the heavens, should also grow in parallel with him. Why? Because you cannot achieve love without fear. Love is higher, deeper. That is unity, merging with the Creator. It is deeper. But first, you must have fear. You must go through the hall of fear. Malchut of Atzilut is called fear, the Yirat Shamayim. Shamayim is Zeir Anpin, and she is the fear of Shamayim, the fear of heaven, the fear of Zeir Anpin. What does the fear of Zeir Anpin mean? Zeir Anpin is Hasedim, and Malchut is Gvorot. And therefore she has fear, and without this one cannot rise to Zeir Anpin, if not through fear, not through Malchut. That is, in the property of Zeir Anpin, there is already Hasidim and the union with the Creator, where love is. And before that one must pass Malchut, because they are interconnected. No one talks about this in any academies of Kabbalah. In order to understand this, one must go through thousands of pages of truly spiritual books with the greatest fear of heaven, and even then, only if they give it to you from above. And they work only with their heads, trying to understand, to get the golden key, but they do not pass the hall of fear. Therefore, the passage of the Machsom is impossible for them, because you must first have a fear of Him. Always have it in your mind. Fixate on it.